Now on CBC Vancouver News.
It was just this sudden, overwhelming panic because we hit something and there was nobody in control.
2 Air Canada pilots are killed after a jet collides with a fire truck at a New York airport. Plus, 4 people are killed in separate avalanches in northern BC. And
that decrease was sharper than intended, and it brought about unintended consequences.
did Canada go too far in cutting international students? The fallout for schools in BC as the province pushes for more say on who comes here.
We need an immigration system that gives people pathways to become citizens.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. It is a stunning, grim scene at a busy airport. 2 Air Canada pilots have been killed in a stunning crash at New York's LaGuardia Airport. They died when their express plane collided on landing with a fire truck that was on the runway. How that happened is now the subject of intense investigation. LaGuardia is back open at reduced capacity, but investigators say that runway will be closed for days. The CBC's Katie Nicholson explains the sequence of events and the work that lies ahead.
The mangled nose of the jet, testament to the sheer force of the collision.
We went down for a regular landing. We came in pretty hard. We immediately hit something and it was just chaos from there.
The 2 pilots, Antoine Ferry and Mackenzie Gunther, killed. More than 40 other passengers and crew sent to hospital. Air traffic control recordings reveal those chaotic moments before the crash. A fire truck was dispatched to check out a problem on another plane. A strange odor reported on a United Airlines flight. Following procedure, it requested permission to cross runway 4.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 Delta.
Truck 1 and Company crossing 4 at Delta.
But at the same moment, the Air Canada plane was landing. Air traffic control tried to claw back the fire truck's permission.
Truck 1, stop, stop, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop.
But the truck veered into the path of the jet. Not long after, 3 haunting words.
I messed up.
I want to extend my sympathies to the families of the 2 pilots. These were 2 young men at the start of their careers.
Canadian and American investigators now tasked with answering how this happened. Already, concerns raised about whether there was enough staff in the air traffic control tower.
I understand there are a lot of questions. I've heard them on air traffic control. I've heard questions on the tower. I've heard questions on air traffic control communications.
Incredibly, the firefighters escaped this twisted mess of metal. One released from hospital already, one being held overnight for observation. A flight attendant thrown to the tarmac, still strapped to her chair, found alive. A miracle, her daughter said. And then there are the passengers who stepped up to get one another to safety.
And I pick up the phone and it's my husband, Chris, who says, "I'm okay. I was just on a plane crash."
Sarah Dorner's husband, Christopher Powell, slid down the wing and got nearly 20 others to do the same.
He was encouraging people to come, to move along, and he said, "Slide down, I'll catch you." So he was there to help people off the wing of the plane.
Katie Nicholson reporting. Now, here in Metro Vancouver, YVR says its operations were not directly affected by the crash. There are no direct flights between LaGuardia and Vancouver. It says service to New York runs through Newark and JFK. YVR offered condolences to the families and friends of those affected. Some U.S.-bound passengers, though, were feeling nervous. In this province, the RCMP says 4 skiers have been killed in 2 separate avalanches in northern BC over the weekend. Both were in very remote areas of the province. The first happened Sunday afternoon near Pleasant Camp and the Klehini River, close to the BC-Alaska border. 1 person was killed in that slide. The second hit on Mount Noss, north of Terrace, just before 1:30 Sunday afternoon. Mounties say 3 heliskiers were killed there. A 4th was seriously injured and airlifted off the mountain. Canada's Auditor General says the federal government may have stopped too many international students from coming to Canada. The CBC's Katie DeRosa outlines the consequences for this province.
That decrease was sharper than intended, and it brought about unintended consequences.
Canada's Auditor General says the federal government's goal of slashing the number of international students may have gone too far. For BC, the decrease in international student study permits was supposed to be 18%. The actual decrease, 66% in 2024.
They used a hammer instead of a scalpel on this one.
A researcher in international student policy says colleges and universities have lost a key source of revenue. International students pay up to 3 times more for tuition than Canadian students.
It's not a surprise because in the sector we've known that the numbers have completely collapsed, and this is a big part of why we're seeing such a financial crisis, especially in smaller institutions.
Some post-secondary schools have been forced to make painful cuts.
There's impact to faculty and staff members who are losing their jobs through layoff. There's impact to local students whose programs are being closed.
BC's jobs minister says the province wants more control over who comes here.
We believe we need an immigration system that gives people pathways to become citizens.
The Auditor General also found that the immigration system cannot keep up with the demand for student visa investigations. For example, checking to make sure students are attending the schools that accepted them. The report found 150,000 cases were flagged between 2023 and 2024, but just 4,000 investigations were launched. Canada's immigration minister says they're working to fill the gaps.
We will be information sharing with CBSA of any students that are not compliant.
The BC government did order an independent review into post-secondary schools to look at the financial pressures they face with fewer international students. That report is expected to be delivered at the end of the month. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
Police were called to a business in Surrey overnight after it was hit by gunfire. As Troy Charles reports, police won't say whether the shooting is linked to extortion.
Here outside this business center on Production Boulevard in Cloverdale, and Surrey police say early Monday morning this electric business was shot at. 2 bullet holes can be seen in the front of CSK Electric, one in the first floor window and the other in the second floor window. Police say the motive for the shooting is still under investigation and would not confirm if it is extortion related. The owner of CSK Electric, who did not want to appear on camera, tells CBC News that as far as he knows, he has not received any extortion threats or messages. Nobody was injured in the shooting. Meanwhile, earlier, I spoke with a different business owner in the area. They also did not want to appear on camera, but they said that last week they received an extortion call demanding money or their business would be shot up. They immediately went to police. They tell me when they heard about the shooting at CSK Electric, they immediately felt fear for their family's safety. Police would not confirm if the two matters were related. From Cloverdale, Troy Charles, CBC News.
A Vancouver newspaper that ran for more than 40 years is now available online. As the CBC's Pinky Wong explains, the pages of the Chinatown News have now been digitized.
Jeanette Lee still remembers the day when her exhibition in Switzerland was featured in Chinatown News more than 30 years ago.
For me, I was thrilled that it was recognized, because especially being in the field of art when it's already difficult.
She started reading the newspaper magazine at a young age. Now, Lee's family has donated more than 400 copies of the paper to the Chinatown Storytelling Center for the new digital archives.
It was the voice of Chinatown. It was the voice of a community that would not be heard anywhere else. My parents couldn't wait till we got the news.
Lee describes the paper as a beacon of hope for Chinese Canadian kids.
You had your first judges, our cousin Buddy Wong, who was the longest serving judge on the Supreme Court, actually. All these stories of people who did incredibly well, they were trailblazers.
The newspaper was published from 1953 to 1996.
The community was mostly the families of people who had come before exclusion, from before 1923 and 4.
The year the Chinese Exclusion Act was passed, banning almost all Chinese immigration to Canada.
It was really important, I think, for the community. They wanted to be accepted in Canada. All smiles at the arrival of Walter Kioki, and even gives a pronunciation.
As Kwan looks back at his birth announcement, he reflects on how this paper brought the community together.
People reading this kind of knew each other, and to see our own names and our own stories was really important.
The publisher, Roy Ma, and he made Chinatown News available for 44 years for us.
Hundreds of copies of the Chinatown News are now accessible online. Archivist Agatha Sid says digitizing that many is a lot of work, but it is important.
Chinatown News is the first and probably the only Chinese language magazine that I've seen with the longest run. We cannot afford not to preserve it, but to preserve it is not just to put it on shelf. We want it accessible, and digitization is the solution.
The goal to preserve and promote the legacy of Chinatown for future generations. Pinky Wong, CBC News, Vancouver.
Several casinos in the southwest corner of BC have been sold to First Nations in recent years. The CBC's Benit Brach explains it's an investment some say offers stability in uncertain times.
From slot machines, blackjack to poker, more casinos in BC are being bought up by First Nations. That's 8 in about the last 2 years in southwest BC. It's unclear why their operator, Great Canadian Entertainment, has sold them off. But the Snuneymuxw First Nations business arm has bought a majority of them.
We were looking as far as Alberta at some properties, and just very attracted to the stability that that these businesses have, and the very strong cash flows that they produce.
Simpson says the potential of the business also means shifting ownership away from international private equity groups, reinvesting funds within BC, creating more local jobs and higher tax revenue. The most recent casino purchase was by the Semiahmoo First Nation, which is acquiring Elements Casino, Surrey. In a statement earlier this month, Semiahmoo Chief Harley Chappell said, "This acquisition represents an important step forward in strengthening economic opportunity for Semiahmoo First Nation and reaffirming our presence within our traditional territory as a strong and capable business entity." This professor says Indigenous communities still face many restrictions when it comes to economic development and opening up casinos on reserves.
The Indian Act still has an incredible level of influence over how a local community is able to develop. It involves the government getting involved. It drags out processes that can ultimately deter investors from sinking money into projects.
But the investments also come at a time when online gambling is growing and casino revenue slightly flattening. That's due to factors like high cost of living and rising unemployment, according to a recent report from the BC Lottery Corporation.
Even with the issue of online gambling popping up, they may lose some foot traffic, they may lose some revenue over time, but when you measure these things out over decades, there's a consistency there.
Potential some BC First Nations are keen to bet on. Benit Brach, CBC News, Vancouver.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Darius Mandavi is here with a first look at the weather. Very sad news, Darius, with these 4 people killed in 2 separate avalanches. What were the circumstances and perhaps, and more importantly, conditions around that?
Well, it's a good reminder that avalanche danger doesn't need to be high for there to be a dangerous avalanche. We were in the orange zone, so considerable, which is elevated avalanche danger around in both areas at the time. That avalanche danger is held pretty steady into today. Some areas have worsened, so we did have low avalanche danger on parts of southern BC earlier this week. Or just in the last couple of days, but that is worsening now and will continue to get worse into tomorrow and Wednesday as we get fresh snow and fresh precipitation. Temperatures are staying low, so this will be snow on the mountains, not rain, which is good news there. But avalanche danger will be high and won't come down again until we get into the end of the week. We also have a number of weather warnings in place, which we'll get more into later in the show, but 15 to 30 centimeters on some of the mountain passes, as well as in parts of the central and northern interior. And some very strong winds expected here on the south coast, Dan, up to 120 kilometers per hour for the North Island.
Okay. Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
From wet and soggy to drought concerns. More on our drinking water supply on the South Coast after this. Cleanup is now underway after that mudslide in Coquitlam last week. As Troy Charles shows us, some displaced residents wonder if nearby construction work may have played a role.
On Thursday, heavy rainfall triggered a mudslide on Coquitlam's Pipeline Road. Now displaced residents are searching for answers.
Somebody's got to take responsibility, you know?
Jeannie Dimitrinit says her home was spared serious damage, but nearby properties, including her in-laws, were hit hard. She believes major construction projects in the area may be a factor in the slide, including work on Eagle Mountain tied to BC Hydro.
When they twinned the big transmission towers, there was a lot of work done up on the slope up there.
Dimitrinit says in the years since BC Hydro's work, there has been 3 separate slides on the same hillside. The first 9 years ago, another in 2024, and then this week. The city of Coquitlam says it's too early to say what may have caused the latest mudslide.
There's a long road ahead to make certain that this kind of thing in this location doesn't happen again.
When asked, BC Hydro said in a statement, "We have no indication that BC Hydro's infrastructure or past construction activity on Eagle Mountain contributed to the recent mudslides in this area. We will conduct any additional inspections or assessments that may be required along with the city." Fortis BC is also adding 50 kilometers of new gas pipeline between Coquitlam and Squamish, and construction work is ongoing at Eagle Mountain. One Earth Sciences expert says clearing trees on slopes can heighten risks of slides during periods of heavy rain.
When you remove vegetation, you increase runoff. So if you increase runoff, in turn, in potentially unstable situations, you can trigger these debris flows.
The Metro Vancouver Regional District owns and operates 2 major water mains that run under Pipeline Road. It says between 2019 and 2021, crews did some work in the area to stabilize the slope and protect underground utilities. The city says they will assess all conditions that may have contributed to the slide. Meanwhile, Dimitrinit says her elderly in-laws fear moving back home because of the unstable slope.
My father-in-law was a builder. And he built that home. It was their forever home.
A forever that's now in jeopardy. Troy Charles, CBC News, Coquitlam.
BC Ferries is expanding service to the Sunshine Coast by adding 120 new sailings between Horseshoe Bay and Langdale. The mayor of Gibson says it is welcome.
Right after the summer, right after August, which is still really busy with still some tourism, a lot of people going back and forth for school and et cetera. And then also the season leading into the summer as well, May, June, which is really heavy and which is usually when the big problems happen.
BC Ferries says it will also expand its Price Saver program for that particular route, giving riders a better fare during off-peak sailings. Gibsons will also form a ferry advisory committee to support the community feedback with the operator. An expert in freshwater streams is calling the Lower Mainland's recent winter alarming after no snow was recorded at YVR for the first time in more than 4 decades.
If we do have a dry summer, it's going to be a problem. We're going to be running out of water for both drinking, for fighting fires, for flushing, for dealing with sewage, but also for producing power and also protecting aquatic ecosystems.
Richardson says many people may not worry about the water supply after the recent waves of heavy rain soaked our region. But Metro Vancouver numbers show snowpack and the water supply remains below normal, averaging 58% of the historical average. There's a look at White Rock and the pier, the rock just out of sight on a gray afternoon. Darius will have your BC-wide weather forecast coming up.
I'm Stephen Quinn, and I love living here in Vancouver, BC. It's a city with world-renowned beauty, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In our new daily podcast, This is Vancouver, we're exploring the diverse range of issues and stories in the city, the good, the bad, and everything in between, as told by the people who live it every day. Don't miss This is Vancouver, available wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll talk to you soon.
Returning now to our top story, LaGuardia Airport in New York is back open tonight at reduced capacity after yesterday's deadly crash involving an Air Canada jet and a fire truck. Investigators warn that runway will be closed for days, though, and they're now poring over video of the moment of impact. Jamie Strachan has more.
The footage is jarring. The moment the Air Canada plane slams into a fire truck while landing at New York's busy LaGuardia Airport.
We were honestly sleeping and then landing, and all of a sudden, boom.
For the 72 passengers and 4 crew members on board the late-night Montreal to New York flight, it quickly became a nightmare.
We didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed, so somebody said, let's get the emergency exit and get the door in, let's all jump out, and that's exactly what we did.
Passenger Jack Cabot shared this footage shot just moments later.
We all kind of just had this real moment of grappling of, wow, we just survived this, and oh my God, this is much worse than we thought.
Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop.
The cockpit was sheared right off in the crash. Both pilots were killed instantly, but passengers say they did all they could.
The plane jolted, and you heard the pilot try to brake like he was trying to prevent the collision.
This expert calls the scenario unprecedented.
Certainly the flight crew, once they touched down on the runway, not expecting to see a fire truck on the runway, that was would have given them little time, if any, opportunity to execute a go-around.
Many on board remain in hospital, including one flight attendant whose daughter spoke to Quebec broadcaster TVA, calling her survival a miracle. She was ejected more than 100 meters from the plane, she said. They found her still attached to the seat. I'm still trying to understand how all of this happened, but she really had a guardian angel watching over her. As investigators begin to piece together how this happened, those who walked away say they are still in a state of shock and realize how lucky they are to have survived. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
We are expecting more answers tomorrow about the staffing situation inside the LaGuardia control tower. Tonight, though, as the CBC's Kayla Hounsell reports, there's a renewed spotlight on the shortage of air traffic controllers in the U.S. and Canada.
Just moments after the fire truck was cleared to cross the runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport, the air traffic controller tries to get it to stop.
Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop.
It doesn't work. The controller keeps working and is heard interacting with another pilot on the ground.
We were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
Funding approved last month will allow the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration to hire an additional 2,500 controllers, but there's a shortage of around 3,000 of them.
They never hire enough people to get this job done. There are too many times when positions have to be combined in order to get breaks, in order to give someone a day off.
There are 33 controllers at LaGuardia, 4 shy of the target. They are training more, but that takes time.
What I've also done is I have offered bonuses to air traffic controllers who are of the age to retire. I've asked them to not retire.
There's a shortage in Canada, too.
Air traffic systems in Canada are incredibly safe. In fact, are among the most rigorous and reputable in the world. And we want to keep it that way. But we do have a shortage of air traffic controllers.
Last year, a commercial plane and a military Black Hawk helicopter collided, crashing into Washington's Potomac River, killing all 67 people aboard both aircraft. Investigators determined the crash was caused in part by overwhelmed controllers.
Something has to give, or the amount of traffic has to be reduced at key airports.
The FAA did reduce the number of planes arriving per hour at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport and increased tower staffing. The question now is whether the latest tragedy will bring about more widespread change. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
Donald Trump says the U.S. and Iran have held talks about, quote, the complete and total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. But Iran says there haven't been any talks. Now, as the war enters its 4th week, it's hard to know what the truth is or what lies ahead. More now from Sasha Petrusik.
Just hours before Donald Trump's deadline was set to kick in,
Hours before he'd promised to attack Iran and destroy its power generating infrastructure, Trump issued a couple of statements which seemed to change all that. He said that over the last couple of days, there were very good and productive conversations between the U.S. and Iran, and that raised the possibility of the total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. And as a result, those attacks would be put on hold for 5 days, and the talks would continue. Now, U.S. media is quoting government officials there as saying that there had been indirect conversations, talks between the U.S. and Iran using mediators from Turkey, from Egypt, and from Pakistan, and that's how we got to this stage. Now, Iranian media, the government news agencies, are reporting that officials there are saying there have been no talks, either direct or indirect, and that the U.S. is just simply responding to Iranian threats of their own if, in fact, the U.S. did attack. Iran had said that if the attack went ahead, that if the U.S. did up its military action against Iran, that it would entirely close the Strait of Hormuz and that it would send missiles out targeting its neighbors in the Gulf states even more than they have so far. The U.S. had said that Iran had to open the Strait of Hormuz, otherwise it would go ahead with those attacks. So there's been a lot of back and forth on this, a lot of confusion also from Donald Trump, because he's issued actually conflicting statements over the last 2 days. Some suggesting that this U.S. military action, the war, was actually winding down, and others threatening Iran even more with these various attacks and sending Marines on ships sailing toward the region, suggesting some kind of a ground operation there to go ahead with the air and naval operation. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Almost 4 months have passed since Australia's historic social media ban for children under 16. Advocates argue it's working and helps protect children from online harm. But some parents say the ban is not very effective at all. Other countries, including Canada, are also considering similar laws. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson explains.
This Australian radio broadcaster and father of 3 poured his passion for his children into advocacy for age restriction for social media use.
The strangers that you wouldn't welcome into your house are being welcomed onto their screens.
At the end of last year, Australia became the first country to ban social media for teens under 16, a move the government said was necessary to stem harms like the addictive nature of the platforms, cyberbullying and mental health impacts.
This means from 10 December, these services must take reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from holding accounts.
3 months into the ban, Michael Whiffley says it brought about some positive changes.
You know, I have mums messaging saying, today we played in the backyard as a family. We threw a ball and created a ridiculous game we've never done before because we haven't spent the time doing that because the kids are off the screen.
But not everyone thinks the ban is working.
We instead have policed our kids, parented our kids online always. We didn't notice any difference.
Kate Gotham's eldest, now 16, was 15 at the time the ban kicked in.
Tell me, Ilyas, for you, how difficult or easy was it to access social media while you were still 15?
I heard that people had to scan their faces and stuff, but I never had to do that.
Experts say whether the ban is working or not will be seen in longer term. And watching that Aussie experiment with eager eyes, Canadians who say we need some sort of restrictions here, including Jenny Perez.
We know about what happened with tobacco, with drunk driving, and many other topics that require the norm to change. Things change only if we all as a society step up, including parents, schools, leaders of the community, and government.
When asked, Prime Minister Mark Carney said that a possible age restriction on social media use in Canada merits a parliamentary debate. But internationally, the momentum is growing. Indonesia's under 16 restrictions are kicking in this week, and France's are just awaiting Senate approval. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
It might be allergy season, at least starting in BC, but there could be more behind what's causing your headache or difficulty breathing. Our medical columnist, Dr. Melissa Lem, is coming up next. A Coca-Cola bottling company recently fired an Alberta factory worker after he suffered a serious workplace injury. In a 5-minute phone call, the man was told he was out of a job after 35 years with the company. Rosa Marcatelli of Go Public has his story.
This is where Sean Hopkins has landed. He's being retrained through Workers' Compensation Alberta to type with one hand, hoping to find a new job. That's after Coca-Cola Canada Bottling Limited terminated him from his factory job of 35 years after he was badly injured at work.
I don't know that I've seen any postings for one-handed typing.
2 years ago, the 57-year-old's shoulder joint was ripped from its socket when a 900-kilogram overhead sliding door he was operating malfunctioned, he says.
Insane pain. Yeah, it was really, really bad pain.
He says he had repeatedly warned his supervisor and the maintenance department about the problem, but it wasn't fixed. When asked about that, Coca-Cola Bottling did not answer the question. An even bigger shock came this February. Hopkins says in a 5-minute phone call with the company, he was told he's out of a job, terminated. No benefits, no severance.
Not even a handshake. 35 years, not even a handshake.
The company points to a rarely used legal principle. It's called frustration of employment, and it allows a company to terminate a worker if continuing to employ them would cause undue hardship to the company.
I find it absolutely abhorrent.
This labor and human rights lawyer says frustration is hard to prove, especially with a company of more than 6,000 employees that just opened a new $75 million high-tech facility in Calgary.
But I have a really hard time believing that there's no work throughout this entire organization.
Coca-Cola Bottling, which says it operates independently from Coca-Cola Company, says based on the assessment we receive from WCB Alberta, we collaborate with a third-party organization that specializes in workers' compensation claims, along with our union partners, to determine the tasks the employee can perform. If we are unable to accommodate an employee based on this analysis, then employment may be frustrated. Adding it followed Alberta labor laws. It says it's now up to workers' compensation to support Hopkins.
How do you treat somebody like that that's given you 35 years?
Hopkins is trying to recover, if that's possible. He doesn't know yet. He's fighting the termination through his union. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Alberta is shutting down 2 more supervised consumption sites. People can use illegal hard drugs there under a watchful eye as a way to cut the number of poisoning deaths. It's not the only province taking such measures. Sam Sampson visits an Alberta community that lost its site a year ago to see what the impact has been.
Helping them inject drugs is not helping people. That's putting poison into their arms.
Alberta's stance on addiction is clear. Harm reduction hurts, recovery heals. The province is closing supervised consumption sites in Lethbridge and Calgary, instead funding treatment and detox centers, which it says will increase public safety.
People within the community that have a right to walk down the street and not inhale secondhand crystal meth smoke.
The province has closed other sites, including in Red Deer a year ago. A government-funded study published in a peer-reviewed journal suggests there's been no statistically detectable increase in opioid-related deaths since that site closed, though it says its results are inconclusive.
We have one study that is standing in contrast to a large body of research that shows that these sites are helpful, and I don't think it's ever wise to make policy decisions of this magnitude based on a single study.
Those working in addiction services stress the need for options.
There's more investment into recovery beds, that's great too, but it shouldn't come at the cost of the services that are the entryway into that programming either. I think we need the full spectrum.
What should people in Lethbridge and Calgary be prepared for now that these sites are closing?
I think they should definitely be prepared for increased public drug use. Removing services won't change whether or not people are going to use drugs. They have to become more creative and more discreet in how they're going to be doing that.
Ontario also recently cut funding to supervised consumption sites. Without staff to test drugs, critics warn of consequences.
The drug supply keeps changing. It can change in Ontario at a blink of an eye. And you might see spike in overdoses. So again, having these sites is very helpful and crucial to mitigate some of these changes that often do happen.
Alberta's changes leave the province with 3 supervised consumption sites, including 2 in Edmonton. All sites, the province says, are under review. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Edmonton.
It is a controversial topic within the medical community, but for many living with what's known as multiple chemical sensitivities, that condition can be debilitating. In fact, the Canadian Human Rights Commission recognizes sensitivities to chemicals and fragrances as a disability. Some employers have policies to discourage fragrances in the workplace, and in the month of May, landmarks across the country will light up in yellow to recognize the condition. Among them, Vancouver's Science World. The CBC's medical columnist, Dr. Melissa Lem, joins us now. Dr. Lem, good to see you. First of all, you've treated some patients for what's known as MCS. What are the symptoms here?
Yeah, my first experiences with MCS were actually years ago in medical school when I did an elective at the Environmental Health Clinic at Women's College Hospital in Toronto. And the patients I saw there with MCS had symptoms in multiple systems that were significantly affecting their daily lives, including brain fog, fatigue, nausea, muscle pain, and rashes. They had to last for at least 6 months, and they were consistently triggered by these low levels of chemical exposures to substances like perfume and fossil fuel fumes that were much less than what a typical person would respond to. And it was also a diagnosis of exclusion. They'd already had other conditions like allergies, hypothyroidism, infections, or autoimmune diseases ruled out first.
So why are some people sensitive to these kinds of fragrances and chemicals and others aren't?
Well, there are multiple theories, but one of them is something called limbic kindling, where your smell and your emotion and memory systems get permanently hypersensitive from low levels of chemicals. Another theory says that after, say, a patient has a major toxic exposure, or if they, for some genetic reason, have trouble breaking down chemicals in their bodies, they get overloaded with toxins that then lead to inflammation. Where it gets controversial, though, is with the theories that suggest that MCS might be a psychological disorder. So in 2021, the Quebec Ministry of Health published an over 800-page report on MCS that couldn't find any evidence for diagnostic biomarkers or biological pathways. Instead, they thought it was more likely to be a kind of anxiety disorder where smells became associated with threat, which then led to physical symptoms because of chronic high levels of stress. But no matter what the cause, what I do want to emphasize is that the symptoms of MCS are real and debilitating, and about 3% of the population has it. So it's really important for health professionals to know how to manage it.
So in the home and perhaps in a workplace, how can you manage this? Is it bans on fragrances and chemicals? What's realistic?
Well, I think, first of all, the building itself that you're living in or you're working in can contribute to the problem. So if it's poorly ventilated or if it's close to a road or a parking lot with car exhaust, this allows pollutants to build up indoors. So just making sure we have healthy buildings. Also, if you have carpets or furniture and paint that are new and, for example, made out of artificial substances, they can off-gas for years. But I would say the worst offenders really are scented products and fragrances like perfume, like cologne, hairspray, and body lotions that coworkers and visitors might be wearing. So one of the best ways is to know your triggers and avoid them. You can get this actually by getting accommodations in your workplace. MCS, as you mentioned, is recognized as a disability, so you can advocate legally for a scent-free environment. And then also having a break space within your home. You can create a safe space that's well ventilated with a HEPA air purifier and natural cleaning products, and go fragrance-free with everything else. Even if you don't have MCS, the fewer harmful chemicals and artificial scents in our environments, the better.
All right. CBC medical columnist Dr. Melissa Lim, we always appreciate your time and insight. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, Dan.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Darius Madavi's back with the BC-wide weather forecast. We had some lovely days over the weekend. And now we're back to, what, round 4 or 5 of storms?
It won't be like last week, is what I will lead with. Much less long-lasting.
First, the good news, yeah.
Much less intense, but we do have many weather warnings in place, and it's because of this low-pressure system that's creeping up from down south of us. It's going to be moving in and ushering in some very strong winds for the southwestern parts of the province, and then plenty of snow also coming to more central and northern areas in BC. Freezing levels are remaining low enough that this will be snow even on many of the south coast mountains. We're talking freezing levels around 500 to 1,000 meters. So snow including on Vancouver's local mountains, more than likely. What we're looking at in terms of weather warnings, as we talked about earlier, winter storm warnings up in the central and northern interior, up in the Peace. We have a air quality warning that I didn't mention earlier, yellow air quality warning for the East Columbia region. A few snowfall warnings for some of the major highways and mountain passes, Highway 1 and Highway 3. And then, again, these wind warnings that are on most of Vancouver Island and then extend up through the Sunshine Coast and further inland. These could be gusting up to 120 kilometers per hour for exposed parts of the North Island, 100 for the west coast of the island, at least in the morning, as those winds blow from the southeast. As that low-pressure system comes in, we will then instead see those winds blow from the southwest. And as that happens, as we see that transition, winds should weaken a little bit, but still 90 kilometer per hour winds down the strait. something to be on the lookout for tomorrow for sure. This model, if anything, I think undersells it a little bit. The amount of the strength of those winds, I think is just considering slightly more sheltered areas than right on the coast. But be aware that those strong winds are going to be coming tomorrow, but should taper off through the evening, if not sooner for most areas. Again, plenty of snow coming into those central and northern parts of BC, as well as to a number of the mountain passes down in the southeast in particular. So Highway 1 and Highway 3, both expecting to see a fair amount of snow coming down there. But in terms of temperatures, those start to drop a little bit. We're seeing cold air creeping down from the north, expecting to see it breach some parts of southern BC, but it should be pretty short-lived. Temperatures should start to come up again by the weekend, and temperatures not coming down too dramatically. Again, a lot of scattered precipitation coming and a lot of more consistent precipitation in some particular areas, but Dan, it's only pretty short-lived. We should see a little bit of sunshine on Wednesday, if not more, and then plenty of sun in the days ahead.
And we should emphasize the rain is really good to fill up the reservoirs.
Yes, especially right now.
Thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
A piece of Indigenous culture, and the people who make it have been honored with a national monument. More about the Cowichan sweater after the break.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox. On April 16th, join CBC's Leanne Young at the 2026 Surrey and White Rock Women in Business Awards. Come celebrate the strength and achievements of the incredible women shaping our future. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter and keep connected with us.
A new plaque next to the museum in Duncan on Vancouver Island acknowledges the significance of Cowichan sweaters to the local First Nations.
The plaque honors the national historic significance of the Coast Salish knitters, and as Claire Palmer reports, they say it helps preserve their culture.
Those are the Cowichan Sinqua dancers, unveiling a new plaque in Duncan commemorating Cowichan sweaters and Salish knitters.
On a cool day like this, these sweaters are waterproof and so warm to wear.
Created in the late 19th century, Cowichan sweaters are recognized around the globe for their thick wool and intricate custom designs.
If you order a Cowichan sweater from a Cowichan knitter, you can custom design it yourself. And that's something you can't buy in the store.
The sweaters are hand woven and for many represent resiliency and cultural identity.
It's an honor. Like I said, it's really acknowledging our culture.
Thursday's ceremony has been in the works for over a year. Parks Canada says the plaque was designed alongside the Cowichan tribes and the Heritage Board and honors generations of Salish knowledge, like wool preparation, spinning, and knitting.
The spirit and the skill of the Cowichan blanket knitters is alive and well today, and the evidence of that is in front of us.
Cowichan knitters like May Sam, who is sitting in the front row, next to her great-granddaughter, who is just now learning to knit her first pouch, the first step towards making a sweater.
The first thing we make has to be given away, so she has to make another one so she can keep her own. Yeah. That's our traditional way.
Sam says the plaque and recognition is important, not just for her, but for those who came before.
It's about all of my family here in Cowichan, all of the knitters that they need to get the recognition for their work too.
For many families, knitting has also been a financial lifeline.
Chief Daniel says authentic Cowichan sweaters are a cultural practice that sustains their way of life and warns against imposters on the market. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Duncan.
And they're so warm. They're so comfortable. Oh, they're gorgeous. And now you can get them customized. Very cool.
Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website, cbc.ca/BC.
And we'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.